Welcome back to the Sound for More channel and welcome back to another demonstration and tutorial. Today I have the pleasure to show you Big Swarma from Audiority, which is a voice multiplier system and of course effect. Before I continue, I would like to remind my viewers to subscribe as it helps with growing the channel. Additionally, if you would like to support what I do, please do check the instruction contained in each video description. Thank you again. Okay, so we are inside AUM. As you can see, I have Synth Master 1, which I definitely recommend as a synth. And then we have Big Swarma here as an insert effect. Immediately, you can see we can switch on high quality, which I definitely recommend. Of course, it will bump up the use of the SP. Now, let's remove these temporarily in terms of effect, and let's listen to what preset I have chosen in Synth Master 1. So a nice sequence, okay? So let's start straight away. So at the bottom here left you have input, and then on the right hand side you have output, and then your dry and wet mix. Quite simple. At the top here you can choose presets, of course users and factory bank, different categories, and then your preset. You can move to the previous one, the next one, save, delete, etc, etc. Okay, and then you can click on here to do some randomization as well. Okay, let's go back to the init preset. Now, and like so. Now let's start to have a look at the controls. So I would recommend that you start here where it says voices. You go up to 16 voices in terms of multiplying. Let's reduce this tuning down to 0, and also the width as well. Again, I recommend that you have headphones. So here you can decide what is the maximum detuning, okay, from 1 semitone to 12 semitones. So let's start. You notice when I change the number of voices, you have an interruption. That's okay. Now we're going up to 8 voices. Immediately you can add a sub in terms of making your voice deeper. So that makes instantly a big difference. Now let's start with detuning. Let's set detuning up to, why not, 12 semitones. When you set it to max, you need to be careful as you move the detuning dial here. Okay, so hopefully you can hear that. We can act also on the stereo width. Now you can get some feedback back into the circuit, okay, acting on these dial here. Be careful with feedback, of course it will pick very quickly. Pay attention to the low pass filter here and the resonance, which is called peak here, and so you might want to adjust that as well a bit. Interesting effect. And then you can do frequency modulation using internal oscillator, which will use the base frequency of the input. You can see if you click and hold just a little bit more, you can lock the parameter or unlock all the parameters, and you can also do MIDI learn, which is good if you have external controllers. So you can hear with frequency modulation, sub is really, really nice now. Now, underneath here, you have controls for your filter, so high pass filter, low pass filter, and the two resonance for the two filter. You also have a master cutoff, which act on both filters. Then you can have an envelope follower in terms of amount, which you can apply to the filter, and then you can change the decay. So quite simple, but effective. See massive difference when you introduce the envelope. Change the decay here. So you can make it much, much shorter. It gives you different characteristic, right? So if you have the low pass filter quite low, I definitely recommend you put the envelope on to follow the signal. You can see the effect also on the overall peak inside the AUM. You have a master control here, which is self-explanatory. You have an indicator for overload there, on and off, and then you have a modulation. Right, so you can sync the modulation to the host with this button, of course. And then you can change the depth of the LFO, the speed, the spread on the stereo field, and then you can go from a sine type of waveform to random, right, with this dial. And then, of course, the beauty is to combine everything together, right? So, of course, you have some presets, which is worth to listen to. Some are quite destructive. And so on and so forth. Why don't we try a different source, and perhaps we are going to a piano track like so, and we connect it to my external controller. Okay, so, and without effect, with effect. Why don't we go back to that in effect and modify? You can hear straight away the multiplication of the voices here on the piano. You can use the feedback really cleverly to create like a sound which is underwater or bubbly, while instead you can use the FM more for metallic noise. Oops, picking. Yeah, you can really clearly hear the effect on speed changes. Yeah, you can see all the AU parameter exposed, so you have loads there, so that's great. And why don't we try it with some drums as well? So why don't we bring hammerhead here, and we choose a preset which I normally use, change a little bit the volume, otherwise it would be too loud. And let's listen. Yeah, you can create really nice effects. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial, and as always, see you next time. Bye.